Good Friday, and tomorrow. Let's see. Tomorrow for me will be Sunday because our church has a church service on Saturday instead of Sunday because we have one priest that has to travel from Warren, Michigan. So tomorrow I'll be celebrating Easter. But yeah, as we were talking about earlier, Easter has not the same as when we were younger. I mean,
No, and it should be the bigger holiday. It's a bigger holiday.
the
Well,
Christmas.
not it's a bigger holy day
Yeah,
than Christmas
right.
for Christians,
Because
but it's played down.
Right, because Christmas, everybody has a birthday. I mean, so Jesus wouldn't have been any unique in that respect. Every human has it. But what was totally beyond what we can normally celebrate as a human is his death and resurrection, plus the conditions and the situation behind his death. I mean, I think but I just think that it's kind of weird that now that you can't refer to as Easter break in most places, you got to say spring break if the kids get any time off at all. And I guess in other countries and stuff like that, it's like it hasn't never been as it was as big as it was here. I mean, and maybe in Greece it was because they had the Orthodox Church there, but I mean, it seems like largely we got moved away from it. And I'm kind of dismayed by it because I don't think something should be fashionable. I think there's a significant reason why we celebrated that, and I think our country was built upon the principles of those the people who believed in that, and I think it's got to constantly be kept in the public forum.
And it saddens me. I mean, I mean, me as a Christian, I'm sure you as a Christian, when you go out there and you talk about your faith, people don't want to hear it. I
Right.
mean, but I'm not forcing it on. I'm not saying I'm forcing it on anybody.
Right. I mean, it's just like I don't see how I'm tolerant. Okay, and which you're not. Some people can argue that you're not supposed to be tolerant of all lifestyles and stuff, but I am because I don't see how you could effectively force people to change their lifestyle. And as a Christian, you're supposed to be the example that Christ wanted in the world. And so the best way to do that is to be as charitable as you can to people, as as accepting as you can. And but yeah, they're not.
But on the same note, tolerance is not acceptance.
Exactly. That's what did the transformative process. And I had a friend who was totally secular bring that up a couple of years ago. He said, acceptance meant you just basically say, "Oh, I can't change that person and I can't force them because I have these limitations."
That's not what that means.
Not anymore. It's like basically, it's like as soon as somebody says they're different than you are, you have to become that different. You have to be that.
And
You have
you
to become
have to
that.
accept it, and you have to worship it almost
Yep.
nowadays.
Yeah, it's acceptance is becoming you embrace it, and it's not what acceptance meant, and it's not supposed to be. And if people accept credit cards, you don't want them to take your credit cards, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, so there's a difference there. It's not just semantics. I mean, it's like there's psychological pressure put upon people. You've heard this other opinion, now you got to go that direction.
But this should be the biggest holy day of the year for Christians.
Yeah, I think so.
And a lot of the Christians, other than going to church or doing it at home, are frightened to say anything because it's been so easy to pick on Christians and to say that you're crazy for being a Christian and poo pooing your faith.
Right. I mean, it's like, but yet they will depend. But these same people say so they want you to be loving and benevolent and show brotherly love, or this concern. All those things that they say that are allegedly trying to bring you back to come from the Christian religion. It's not from Buddhism. I mean, Buddhism doesn't go and try to embrace people. It doesn't go out and try to do what people Christians done.
Buddhism is more inside,
Yeah,
more insightful, more being a better person.
it's more philosophical, except for some versions of Buddhism. They don't have an emphasized deity, where the Tibetan form, I guess, does. They have demons and gods and stuff like that, and that's unique amongst the Buddhist thought. Basically, it's a practically atheistic religion. Buddhism is. It's you're trying to define a god or a deity. You just say here's what you do, the thoughts and the words and the deeds you do to make your life better. That's what it is. So, I mean, it's not really it's religious because it's religion because it has practices attached to it.
But I don't know. As a kid, I always look forward to
I
Easter
did too.
and Good Friday.
Because a lot of times I would go up north for the holiday because we'd have a week off or whatever, and I'd go up there and visit my dad's parents. My sister didn't like to go up there as much, so I went up there, and it was unique. I mean, I got to go up there and spend a few days, and it broke up a week. It broke up the year. I was up there for I was 120 miles away from home, so it didn't change perspective. So I kind of enjoyed the Easter
But
break.
still, even in school, the teachers weren't afraid to talk about
No,
Easter and what Easter means.
right, and we had a good teacher in our school that actually none of the teachers actually
And
were
I'm talking about
anti-Christian.
I went to a public
Yeah,
school.
so did I. So did I. Yeah, and none of the teachers had this animosity that I see demonstrated clearly across the board, and largely in public education systems. I mean, it's almost like a hostility to people who are Christians. So I mean,
Well,
and
and the only reason that Easter isn't a holiday, right?
It's like was
Because it travels throughout
well, yeah,
the months,
like
and
it's
most holidays are one day.
yeah, it's like the 25th. December 25th is going to
Because I've
be.
always wondered that, and I looked it up, and that's what I found out.
And I think it's because of connection to Passover. The event of in the that led up to Christ's crucifixion was centered around the feast of Passover, not the feast, but the Passover celebration, if you want
Which
to
is
call
Jewish.
it, which is Jewish. So that's the reason why that Passover shifts around quite a bit in within the Jewish calendar, liturgical count, for lack of a better term. I guess it's liturgical. I
Well,
guess, but
all their most a lot of their holidays
float around.
float
Yeah,
around because of that
yeah,
calendar.
it's because of the calendar. What was it? The lunar calendar or something like that was based on position of the moon or something like that. The
And even the
phases. Yeah,
Muslim holidays
yeah,
do the same thing.
right. So I mean, it's just, but it's kind of and it's in other places. It's like totally.
No, in Germany, they celebrate it the same way we do.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I wonder what's going on now because there's such an influx of like Muslims and other people coming into Germany and other parts of Europe. I saw reports, and I don't know if I'm just going by stuff I saw on YouTube and stuff that actually there's like they don't want anybody to celebrate Easter in England. I mean, especially in and around London, they are very hostile to it. I hope that's not the case, but I can't afford to travel there to see for myself. So, but anyway, if anybody can hear this and talk about if they're on the ground there and tell us if that's true or not, let me know. So.
Yeah. And what do you think about that more illegal aliens are choosing deportation over being arrested?
I think that probably is beneficial for them because my understanding, maybe I'm wrong on this, but if they self-deport, then they come back again and try
They
to
can come back.
yeah, come
And
back.
not only that, Trump announced today, I think it was, that he's actually going to give them money for airplane tickets or whatever to get home.
So I mean, I don't know much. I mean, I don't know any other country if you're caught there without the right paperwork where you'd be treated so much with kid gloves. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I know these for serve an economic role. Some people think that's they do the work hard labor jobs and stuff like that. I'm not debating that, but they're here illegally. You and I have to go anywhere we go to. We have to present ID for. I mean, almost everything. You go to use a credit card or a debit card someplace. You have to show your ID if you don't use a PIN, whatever. Why is it so? Why is it so draconian to demand that people are here
Because
from another country?
I think ordinary every day people are having to show ID,
Yeah.
whether the politicians want to admit it or not. I
Mhm.
mean, if I was a store owner and you were coming to use a credit card and you looked fishy, I mean, that's up to me, right?
Right. I think
I may ask for an ID from you.
right. I mean, so, but I just don't understand why we're tracked. I mean, all the money we cut. It's like if we go work at
Oh,
a consistent,
everything
yeah,
is
yeah, it's tracked.
go to the IRS website.
Right.
Every dime you've ever made
Is
is
there?
on there.
Yeah. So I mean, so if we're having that much criteria placed upon us as citizens, what the hell is the benefit for us being citizens? I mean, we should just go denounce our U.S. citizenship, go to another country, while come back again, and then we know we can
No,
make
because
jobs and
even that's a big rigmarole and
yeah,
costs you money.
yeah. So I mean, it's like basically I mean, and I got an argument the other day with a guy online. I blocked him because he told me to go to another country because I made the point that we are slaves, and we are. We brought that up before. We
Well,
are
there's not
slaves
a person on this planet that's not a slave
to
to
some degree.
something.
No, I mean, as soon as you're born, somebody else has got a thumb on your head. They want to keep you in that
Well, look,
position.
you pay for a house.
Right.
It's made up money by the banks.
Right.
There's actually no money. I bought and sold not 5 houses, but 4 houses, and I own the fifth one that
Right.
I'm in. Not one time was the money in my hand
Right.
to give to another person.
Right.
It was all electronic, and it's made up money by the banks, and you're having to pay for that. You're having to pay that, and then you're having to pay interest, and then oh, by the way, you're going to have to pay taxes on that property the rest of your life.
And my
What sense does that make?
no, it
You
doesn't
can
make sense.
never own anything.
No, because it's other people have found a way in taking your basic needs and capitalizing on. I mean, and not in a sense of a good form of capitalization. I mean, they have found a way to exploit you, and we go along with it. I mean, right now at this point, it'd be so hard to back away from that system to rectify it, to reform it. But I mean, there's got to be
Well, I
some.
mean, it'd be easy to just people revolt, say, "I'm not paying taxes anymore." There's more of us than there is of them, because you always see that where the tax collectors are over the cliff on a
Mhm.
little board,
Yep.
and you got this vast amount of people standing on the board. If they would just get up, they would fall. What are they going to do if the whole United States just decided we're not going to pay taxes this year? What are they going to do?
try to round us all up and put. But they,
No, they're not going to round all. They don't have enough prison. They don't have enough people to do it.
no, I think the point's valid. I just that all what they would try to do, the reaction would be, and I don't know if it's effective, but they just try to people who would be the most vocal, and they go and try to grab them up. I mean, the government would. I mean, the IRS, especially Treasury Department, whatever the hell it is. But no, I mean, it's like,
But it takes time.
yeah.
If you don't pay taxes this year, it takes time for them. They just don't like that and get you for not paying taxes. It
Well,
takes years.
well, look at Al Sharpton. How many, like 8 to 10, $11 million he was supposed to owe, and he's never paid it, to my knowledge. I mean, he's still walking around free, and
Well,
he
they just
travels.
did a thing. I forget what percentage of IRS employees don't pay taxes. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's like a lot, and actually, I had a friend of mine whose sister worked for the IRS, and she tells her she worked there and retired. She goes, "I wouldn't." She goes, "Here's what you do: don't pay taxes. Don't pay taxes because they're taking your money, making money off your money. You're not getting benefit off of that interest that they're gaining off of it. So she
Yeah.
here's a way to stay. If you can take any opportunity to not pay taxes, take it. You know." And this was an IRS person saying this. You
Well,
know,
then the same note is when somebody like Trump comes up and says, "Well, I'm gonna shore up. I'm gonna shore up the U.S. government with tariffs." Everybody's up in arms.
all right.
I mean, all we're doing is evening out everything, and people are so upset. Nothing's changed with the tariffs.
No, I mean, well, Ross Perot said it 30 years ago. Go to every country you trade with the United States and say, give us the same deal on trade that we give you. That's not, I mean, why
What's
is that
wrong
so,
with that?
what's so wrong about that? I mean, and they say, well, and it's like taxation was not permitted in the Constitution. What it was, the government was supposed to be ran by the tariffs and customs that collected, not by putting it on our backs and having a gun held to our head through an IRS agency and stuff like that. No,
I
no.
mean, in the excuse me, in the late 1800s, we had so much money we didn't know what to do with it. They had a blue ribbon commission to decide how to spend the money.
Well, I would now you just have all the foreigners could come in and ask it, knock on our politicians' door and have access to them more than we do, and they get you walk away with huge checks or transfers of cash to their accounts. I mean, that's where I mean. I don't know. I mean, I don't like anybody, any country getting money from the United States for weaponry, or if it's not for just humanitarian aid for temporary situations like a disaster. We don't need to give them anything. Any country, I don't.
No.
No, all it does is I mean, no, don't look at Europe's mad at us, and I've heard them go after us because they're so proud of their socialized medicine. They always throw that in our face. We got socialized medicine, British
Well, I
especially.
mean, and then oh, excuse me, Rubio said that we may have to step back from the Ukraine Russia war, because of there's no what's the word I'm looking for? There there's no improvement.
No, it's no improvement.
And then Trump reiterated it today and agreed with him. It may be a lost cause.
And now there, I saw people with accusing Trump of being in Putin's pocket. It's like, no, my friend, our mutual friend,
What does it matter? Ukraine. There's all kinds of countries all over the world
Mhm.
fighting right now.
Right,
There's wars going all over the place.
African nations and everything else.
We're not involved in that. Let them go, as far as I'm concerned. Whoever wins, wins.
Then we do business or
With the winner.
the winner. I mean, I don't understand why we got this idea that Ukraine is so victimized when they poked the bear of Russia for years before Putin finally reacted. I mean, and I'm not a and no, I would love to be in Putin's pocket. Hey, Mr. Putin, if you like what I'm saying, send us $100,000 in cash, or
I'll take it.
I'll take it because I'm saying you're. I mean, another thing is true. Everybody can't get this point, and Putin put it basically the NATO aligned countries are ringing Russia. And we got so pissed off about what happened in October '62. I was a baby. I wasn't even born at that point, but called the Cuban Missile Crisis because everybody's all up in arms because Soviet Union had in Cuba had weapons pointed at us, nuclear weapons pointed at us, the United States. They're doing the same thing to Russia, and that Russia's not supposed to have any kind of
No, they're not
response.
supposed to do anything.
Yeah.
And they tried to kill Putin not too long ago. When remember they
Yep.
blew up his entourage or whatever his. They blew up a limousine. That, of course, he wasn't in it. Nobody. I don't think anybody was killed.
See, I mean, it's like, I mean, I don't know why people it's latched themselves on Ukraine. I mean, another thing is too the self righteousness about Russia invaded Ukraine. How many countries did the United States invade in the past 30, 35 years? Can anybody keep count?
Panama,
Yeah, Panama. Let's see, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan,
Syria, at some
Syria.
point.
Yeah, so I mean, Okay, you're going to go on about yeah, I think the self righteousness. I mean, and I'm a pro American. I don't like wars. I think that destroys American lives. It takes American capital away out of the American people. I like the lives being preserved better. But Americans are blithe about that. They're almost excited when they got another war, so their kid could be sent to a war, so they can have these great stories to
Yeah,
tell.
but
But
what's so stupid is everything comes here to
right,
be sold, right?
right,
If everything comes here, so why are we going? I just don't understand why we're getting involved in so much. Like Taiwan, that's so important to us. Why is Taiwan so important?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like Taiwan. It's China takes it over. Is it worth facing off and killing millions and millions and millions of people? And ultimately, would it be a winnable war anyway? With China being so close to Taiwan, and they have like so many shared, customs and traditions to the Chinese people with the Taiwanese people. They're Chinese basically on a different part of the land. That's it. I mean,
And they sent so many uh, people over there from the mainland China, anyways, that they love China.
right? It's like, well, the another things I don't know.
But of course, our people like feeding us this bullshit that they don't like China,
Right.
which is bullshit.
Well, yeah, well, they have so much in common. I mean, am I right? I don't know if you know the history about Taiwan was originally called Formosa, was it Formosa?
I think so.
And so what it was, it swelled up the ranks of the Formosan Formosa when the nationalists and the communists in China were fighting out, and then you also had the Japanese coming in too. So they had this huge mess going on. A lot of people fled the communists and went to Formosa, now Taiwan. That's my understanding of it. And another thing is, I don't know if you've ever realized, but there's ethnic Chinese people scattered throughout Vietnam, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia. They're ethnic people. They have a
That are
huge
pro China.
pro China, yeah. So I mean, basically, you have the seeds of the Chinese, mindset already in place, firmly in place in these countries for generations. There's a kind of a large contingent.
But we always pretend like that's not true.
Yeah, well, it's like we have a tendency, and the only reason why I know about it because I had friends who are when I was in college who were from Thailand and also from Vietnam and stuff, and I was told that there's a huge amount of China's all over the place
I
there.
I, I just think the best thing that Trump could do is have a 6 month to a year hold on all foreign um, wars or
Yeah,
incursions. That let it play out,
yeah. I mean, it's like yeah, let them see
or
if they can
let
settle on
another
their own.
country be the hero.
Yeah, it's like, I guess now, I guess the Europeans are getting mad because some of those European countries are trying to increase their spending going into Ukraine. So that's going to put a big pinch on their social programs. It's got to be because they have a you have made the understanding. I never understood how like lack of ability to grow of economy exists in Europe because they are such tiny nations. You've emphasized that because you were stationed in Germany. You saw the how close every
Those
country
are
is
just
to each
little
other.
tiny states, is what they
Right,
are. They're not. We think of the United States as a country.
right,
Well, Honduras is a country.
right,
Canada is a country. Germany's not a. Germany's the size of a small state.
right. It's like well,
And even France is even smaller than that, and Italy's even smaller than that. How can they have the same GDP as us? And I never understood that.
no, they do. Well, yeah, let's face it. They'd have to take everything available to them and turn it all to product to sell abroad, and they can't do that because basically they'd be doing away. Everybody would be starving in their own
I think a
country.
lot of this stuff is made up. The more we're finding out, especially with TikTok, with how all these big companies are having most like the purses and different things, and we already know Nike,
Mhm.
we already know Apple, but what I'm saying is big brands like Lululemon are having everything made there, and then they put them together in whatever country they're in
Yeah, so
and
this
sell them for these crazy prices.
yeah they just say
People are stupid for paying all that money for nothing.
well, I saw somebody posted about the price of the iPhone now is like we're on 1,200, $1,400 for more current versions of them, right? And if it was made in the United States and a guy who's wearing a suit and he's making 40, 50,000 a year, the price of those are going to go up from
No, it wouldn't,
$1,000 and
because there's so much
$19,000.
profit
Yeah,
in it. You're talking about a phone that only costs them maybe $35 to make,
if that.
if that,
Yeah,
and then they mark it up
right.
just because they can, because the consumer is stupid and they'll pay the money.
Well,
So they've got all that they got all that room in there to pay a me or you to build their phone
well, another
here
thing,
in the United States,
well, another thing is
and they
too.
wouldn't. I mean, they would lose all that profit,
One other thing is too, it's like years ago they were saying the GM was moving out of this area because they want to keep so the money saved on labor. Well, guess what? Since they moved out of here, and a lot of those cars are made in other places. Has the price of the basic
No,
vehicles
it
gone
went up.
downhill? They've gone way
Went
up,
up.
way up. I mean, years ago, you used to be able to get a car for what $3,000 to $5,000 in the United States, all made by people, mostly made by people in the United States. Now it's how many? I mean, my friend just got a pickup truck. The 70, the sticker price is 82,000. He got it for 75.
I don't know how he could afford it.
Yeah, see, I mean, I don't see. So they're always making that excuse. Well, these guys here, the UAW workers are making too many demands and too much money, costs too much money. Well, if that's the case, and they certainly haven't lowered because they had the price savings in the labor, they haven't lowered the damn prices. So that was a ridiculous argument, in my opinion. But anyway, so it's like I don't. To me, it's like I was also looking at something here on this about the new WHO treaty grants
Yeah, it's
sweeping.
disgusting.
Yeah, it's like I'm
How are they? Okay, the WHO wants to create a new sweeping power treaty for global pandemic responses, which means that they want to supersede, uh, like the United States, whatever the United States is doing, and this is what you're going to do. Who put? Screw that. We don't. Why do we need the WHO?
it's like
Not the band.
the band's great, but no, I think when I was a kid though, I was told that when somebody signs the UN Charter to join up with the United Nations, that the charter actually supersedes that country's constitution. And I've never had anybody to prove or disprove that assertion. So if anybody wants to
But
weigh on that,
but why do we need the? We can run. The United States can run its own pandemic. We don't need the World Health Organization to come in.
well, see, they need us because they probably need the big bucks that they
Well,
can
we
draw
don't
from us.
remember we don't give them the money anyways anymore.
That's when
Trump took
Trump
that
took
money
that away.
away right away.
I mean, that's one thing I got to agree with. But else, I mean, I really like Trump on a lot of stuff. A lot of times I kind of roll my eyes and say, "Why the hell did you say that?" Like the third term stuff. But
But the thing is, any president, even I mean, you don't like Clinton. I happen to like Clinton because I think he was, if he were today, he would have been a moderate Republican
right,
compared to back then when he was a moderate Democrat.
and he did have an appreciation as being the governor of Arkansas twice. He knew how to connect with business and business leaders and how to develop
He
businesses and
wasn't a
stuff.
bad president.
No, in some ways he really
If
wasn't.
you just go off his
Right,
presidency and not his personality.
right. His
And the
personality.
same thing if you take Trump's personality away and just look at what he's done, he's not a bad president either.
What did you think of Bill Maher's like basically total
Bill Maher is
reverse?
a self-promoting little bitch.
I just thought that was
I mean, Trump doesn't need Bill Maher.
no, but I just
Bill
thought,
Maher needs Trump.
oh yeah, it's like, and did you notice how frail looking Bill Maher's starting
Well,
to get
he's
look?
old. I
He's
mean, look at me. We're old.
yeah. I can't believe he's. I think it's like I don't know what the cause it's about face because of. I mean, he was trashing Trump and Trump supporters, and initially anyway. Now he's like, man, he's actually a regular guy, and I think a lot of people saw that about Trump. They saw that he was actually, even though he's a multi-billionaire, people who worked at construction sites and stuff, he got along with them. The average construction worker, a lot of them liked him. He resonated well with the working class. He I got a huge support here in the team from the UAW and the Teamsters. They had like a separate group split off and just give support to him. But I mean, it was significant. It was a significant support. So I mean, he seems to resonate well with the working class. I mean, and I think that's cool. I mean, but anyway, I just think it's just so all of a sudden I'm hearing nice things about Trump coming from Bill Maher's mouth.
Well, like I said, he's self-promoting and he's playing both sides. Excuse me, of the fence.
Yeah, just anyway, I don't know. We have I think that we got a lot of stuff. I mean, I can't believe I'm just looking at the list here. We got so much stuff that goes on in this country right now. I'm just amazed though that Trump he's been nonstop since he took office in January. I haven't seen him. I mean, they complain about him taking golfing excursions, but what is that a day or two away from it? I mean, Biden spent most of his time relaxing somewhere. So did Obama. And then there's nowhere. I mean, Obama's nowhere near the age that Trump is at this point. So I mean, I think this man just. I got. There's some things I disagree with, but man, I just got to give him. He's got this energy that I'd never seen in a president. Never had.
And it's only going to be a matter of months before we start seeing the growth in the United States. Good job report just came out. It was better than than expected. Everything's been better than expected.
So the only thing I don't like about it is the shakiness on the on Wall Street. But I also try to have to temper that with the idea that we're gonna have to take pain up front if
Okay,
we
but how long have you been in the stock market?
well,
I mean,
25 years or so, yeah.
okay, have did you look at it every day?
No,
It
no,
would
it's
make
like
you crazy.
no, it would. Yeah, that would definitely drive you nuts. I mean, basically, anybody who is a financial planner or anybody, they'll just say you get try to do and there's something really you got to do. You got to really address. Otherwise, just let it ride. I mean, it's going to even out or balance out down the road. So I'm hoping for that anyway. But again, another thing is it'd be great to see development coming into. And I guess there has been a plant or some kind of business open to just get freshly built over there by where the old Buick site was. I'm indicating across the river, folks. Whereas where we're sitting, it's across the river from where we're
Here in
sitting
Flint.
here in Flint, Michigan. So, and and we also have had several buildings, put up that I don't know what they're going to be serving, what purpose or what companies they're working for, but we do have them being built in the area. So that's promising. What's going to go in there, I don't know yet, but hopefully they mean jobs. So.
I mean, jobs, yeah, because jobs, jobs would be nice.
See, because
Excuse
like,
me.
see, City of Flint, for example, when we had the money coming in from the UAW, I'm not UAW, GM, some, tax base, we had a lot of inept people running it, but because they had so much, the money was just coming pouring in like a faucet on a fire hydrant, everything was covered. But now it's like it's really lean, and so any kind of screw up is a major hit, on services, on perception of the city, and everything else. So I'd like to see something getting back a little closer to where we have a taxable
But
income.
I don't see taxes going down.
Like, I mean, the property taxes or the, no, I don't see
Any
property taxes coming down.
taxes.
No, I don't see they can. Unless you have a huge influx and everybody just can pay a smaller portion, but there'd still be more money coming in. But I don't know if that's going to be ever. I don't know if I don't want to see that happen anyway. Mm, J- James, okay. Mm, um, James Gunn's Superman, but sparks remarks discussion about superheroes return to faith and values. Now this one
Is that
I'm
so bad? I mean, that think
no,
about it. What if you think about the original theme of Superman?
yeah, it's like, and it was like definitely, yeah, it was definitely based upon the family. Clark Kent, was found by a family, a man and a wife. They raised him as their own. I mean, he was basically in a nuclear family, and I'm not talking about nuclear explosion, but I mean nuclear family. Yeah, I mean, and it's like going back to that. I don't think the guy who created Superman would have minded that. That's what his world was, his worldview, because he was part of that culture and that generation. So I don't see where that's such a like a capitulation to primitiveness or sort of escaping political correctness or what. I don't know. I mean, I think Superman was a good role model. I mean, he was definitely. I would like to see more people who just have jobs buttoned down and willing to sacrifice and work for the good and all that. I think he was a great character. I mean, myself, I like Batman better because he's got that sinister edge, and he didn't have to have superpowers. But I like, no, I think it's a good thing to return. I don't know where we can go with this nihilism that we're formally now following as a nation, as a culture. I mean, I don't see where that's going to lead to. That's anything positive. I mean, breaking down, I tried deconstructing Christianity, deconstructing this, deconstructing that. Okay, if you want people to treat people better, if you destroy the basis for that, claim or what are you going to, how are you going to promote that change or this movement? I don't understand it. No.
No. And what do you think about Britain's highest court ruling on Wednesday that only biological women are women and trans women do not meet the definition of women under the equality law? What would you think that it would be Britain that would
No.
clarify it? And do you think this is the final nail in the coffin
Well, I think
of the wokesters?
it's like yeah, I think it could. I mean, I think it very well could be. I think it's just common sense. I mean,
I mean, do you think it's over? I think it's over.
I would, yeah. I'm seeing it's going. It's you could see it fading its intensity. So I'm betting and I'm hoping that that is the case because I don't know how the hell you
I've
could.
seen a lot less blue hair
Oh yeah,
when I go into the store.
that's I don't understand. I mean, I think people want to find something to be unique about. Then they'll find one thing, and then everybody's gravitating. And they'll go to the same thing. So there's no individuality going on there. But I don't. I don't know if I want to sit down and talk to a trans and find out what their rationalization or the perceptions of themselves and the world
I
are. I
think a
don't know if I want
person's
to
a
do that.
person. You can find the good in anybody.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, you always mention that person that say hangs out with Tom McDonald that
Blair
trans,
White.
Blair White. I mean, that person doesn't expect the world to change for them, and they know that they're the anomaly, and they're fully willing to accept the scorn and stuff like that, and the disapproval of that. I think that's if you're going to live your life like that, if you're going to be the
Just be
individual,
happy.
be happy and run with that. I mean,
But don't expect everybody to come to your circus.
right? It's like exactly. I mean, don't expect to say now I'm going to line up and I'm going to have to give you my money to your fan club. I don't see that's going to happen. I mean,
But
I
I never would have thought that
go
it would have been Great Britain Supreme Court that would decide something like that,
now I just
especially in this day and age.
that does astonish me because I mean I know our J.K. Rowling or something like that. She got blasted because she asserted and she created a whole
But she's
fictitious
so
world.
rich that
Yeah,
it doesn't
she
matter.
could just move to another country.
Buy another country.
Yeah, I mean, you do know the true story about her. She was a mother in welfare, and she wrote those books sitting at a cafe, and she never knew. I don't think she had any idea how big that was going to become. But I'm glad she did. I'm glad, even though I don't. There's some
I
things.
know it's witchcraft and all
Benefits.
that, but you gotta have time. Kids need fantasy
Yeah,
to develop. I mean, they can play games. I mean, what's the difference of playing with bad wizards and good wizards or cowboys and Indians?
yeah. I
Oh, you
mean,
can't. I'm sorry, you can't play cowboys and Indians anymore.
I remember some churches back when E.T. came out. And that's a movie, by the way, I have never seen through. I just see parts of
I
it.
never liked it.
But they said they were going all. It's like ET was an that it was a satanistic qualities to him and all. I want he was an extraterrestrial, so possible they could be like that. They were just like they were just saying this up in arms about it. I thought
Well, they
it
were
was
up in everything. Because remember the about the music and that. Then the warning labels had to come out in
yeah.
CDs for rock and roll bands.
And it's irony too because that was Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife, and they're Democrats. That kind of stuff wouldn't happen within the Democratic Party right now because oh my God, they're trying to find ways to be weird, and be and outrageous and be and
All
to
it made is the music more desirable.
yeah, it's like I mean I thought the coalition that came out and spoke against it. You had people like Frank Zappa and Debbie Gibson speaking on the behalf against that kind of marketing, against the labels. And I thought that was weird. It's such a blend because Debbie Gibson, not Debbie Gibson, Debbie Boone was Debbie Boone and all these other and Frank Zappa. I mean, they were against it, and I'm against it too because I mean I'm a First Amendment first person. You let you let people decide what their kids are going to hear, and guess that means you're going to have to engage in your kids' lives. There, you lazy bastards. Sorry, you're going to have to listen to what they hear, and you're going to have to watch what they're watching to determine if you want them to watch it or watch it before you will let them watch it. I mean, that's on you. Okay, you got kids, do something with them. Don't
But you
let
should
this.
be a well-rounded person. You should be able to listen to anything that's legal if you want to, right?
Right, that's
But if you're a parent that does, okay, if you want to raise a kid in a certain way and you don't want them to listen to that, that's fine.
right. That's I don't have a problem with that. But I mean, say that we got to label this and label that. If you find something offensive about it, listen to it first. If you find something offensive or something that you don't want your kid to be exposed to, then don't let them be exposed to as much as you can. I have no problem with that. That's the power of the individual, and it's awfully hard because I mean I don't want to say that everything comes on the road should be accepted and not questioned. No, I'm not saying that. Question it, listen to it, see if there's anything worth questioning it about it. I mean,
Or
be
play.
a
Remember when they were playing everything backwards
yeah.
and finding it was so stupid.
It's like you pay this backwards, and it says, "Oh, yeah, it's like who the hell?" But do you hear it in there? If you're hearing it played in the forward position, do you hear the back mass message? Do you really hear it? Does it impact on your consciousness? I don't think it does. I don't.
I think it was a promotional technique. Come on, man. If you go back and you think about it, they were probably paid shills to do that just to get people to buy Led Zeppelin records.
Yeah, it could be very well that. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've heard of that. Jimmy Page actually had like a allegedly bought Aleister Crowley, a well-known occultist, to home and stuff like that. I think it was Jimmy Page or
I think,
and
yeah.
yeah, Jimmy Page and um, so what? I mean, I don't know.
Do you believe in evil spirits and ghosts?
Well, so I do believe in evil spirits. I do believe in that. But I mean, do I believe I don't I think that I don't think you could control them by the only thing you could do is not allow them to come take a root in your life by encouraging that kind of those behaviors that that they want you to attempt you to do. But I mean, now I don't if somebody else does, I don't know how you can shut
What
them
I'm
down.
saying, do you think Aleister Crowley still
No, I don't think I think
walks the
no, no,
halls?
no, I think he's dead. I mean, no, I think he's a long dead person. I'm not worried about him
I mean,
coming
I
back.
stopped believing in all that stuff years ago.
So I believe in it. I believe
especially when you live by yourself.
right.
What are you
Yeah.
going to be scared of all the noise? Especially my house makes a lot of noise
Yeah, so does
at
mine, man. I mean, something knocking just the other night. No, just today actually, it's something knocking. It was and then I found out it had been raining, so something was like the rain was hitting one of my awnings at a certain angle, and once in a while I hear it, but when there's like also the brushing of the the shrubs by it, it was just it just sounded weird today, and but I figured out the source of it. I was looking around, but yeah, you definitely get more paranoid or more concerned when you're by yourself.
Yeah, we're not scared.
No, no, I don't. Oh, there's something. One time I did hear a crash in the middle of the night. To this day, I don't know if it was that. I can't find anything that broke in the house, but I heard that sometimes you take medications, and just as you're drifting off, I think it's Tylenol actually, it actually can cause this like crashing sound in your auditory, and picks up, and then you jump up a lot, and it's
I've
documented.
got a question for you. When you think of autism, describe what autism like means to you. I
Well,
mean, if somebody says that their child is autistic, where does your brain go?
from what I was told and what I've seen is usually they don't make eye contact. They avoid they don't communicate with people, and they're non-communicative. Most of them, to some degree, they are. They get fixated on certain minutia things, and then other like larger scale things, the broader picture, they don't look at. They just have a tendency to focus. They also have a tendency to be once they learn a rule or set of the rules, they have everything's got to be
They have
fit
to
into that.
follow it.
Yeah, yeah,
They follow patterns.
right,
They like rigidity.
right,
Rigidity.
rigidity. Yeah,
They don't like things to change.
right.
Do you think that maybe because we're older and that's what autism was to us,
Hmm.
that a young that with this was it neurodivergent
Neurodivergent. Yeah.
that they've got a new definition, the younger people?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that is a percent. I mean, and I think a lot of it, it's like, it's because the media and and along with some people who are called specialists in those fields, come out and they give information, and the media will seize up on that, and it gets overemphasized. And
But do you think because of people who say, well, they're diagnosed neurodivergent, which means that their brain doesn't work the same way that mine and yours works. But I don't think every two people's brains
no,
work
I
the
don't.
same way. But what I'm saying, do you think that actually takes away from the children who are it's their environment that caused it or a chemical? I think it should be reclassified.
Yeah, I agree with
I
you on
think
that.
the children who can't communicate or are not communicating, I think they should be classified as a disease
Yeah, they're definitely
and not a mental disorder. I think it should be taken away
from the yeah.
from the psych doctors and different things. I mean, I mean they should be involved, but I think it should be classified as a disease.
Well, I think there's probably certain markers or certain things like a DNA. Or there's also certain chemicals present at
But do you
certain
think that's
levels.
where because JFK is
You
a
know.
little bit older than us
Mhm.
that thinks the same way? It was talking about those types of children and wasn't talking about the neurodivergent. Sorry,
Yeah, I do think that. I
that
mean,
he got himself in trouble.
yeah, I think that he. I
And
think. I think it. I think if I were him, I would see. You and I had friends that used to come and talk
right,
about autism, and we thought we were we knew something about it from them, and also the people I know. And now it is like the changing body of what to look for or what they consider to be encapsulated within that, when that label is broadened or shortened, or and some people are arguing to broaden it, to shorten it, or to narrow it. And I think and that's why he's getting criticized. RFK is getting criticized because
because he was talking
yeah,
about the non-communicative
right.
children who he believes were affected by a chemical or something in their environment and not brain mapping.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
see, the thing is, my understanding of any kind of disease or any kind of yeah, any kind of disease or whatever, there's like certain types of what they call
I'm
sources
not
of it.
saying when I say disease, I just mean to get them different money.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, because it can't be coming out. You can't have only this pool of money, and then now you got a larger base of people now are going to be drawing from that, and still have adequate coverage for these people's needs. No, so I mean, there should be a separate pool for this, and with certain things in place, criteria in place, and then a certain criteria placed upon this other pool.
But if you're
Yeah.
functioning and you're contributing to society, you shouldn't be in the same pool as a kid who can't speak.
Right. I mean, you ever heard of the researcher named Temple Grandin?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, she's autistic and she's a college professor. She studied animal psychology and she's one.
but she was not communicating until the age of 4,
Yeah, yeah,
and if her mom would have left her, she probably would have stayed that way.
yeah. I mean, Thomas Sowell had a the thinker and political thinker and stuff like Thomas Sowell, an economist. His son didn't speak till he was 5, 6 years old, something like that. We were late, considerably late. And our friend, the hippie conservative, he used to make it. He said years ago, if they jumped on, they saw some kind of odd oddball thing in a person's a child's behavior, they would if they didn't seize upon it to label them and give them medication, they just let it roll or try to work with it or whatever. If he said back then, if these people like say Edison and all those people in Ford and all these people were born more forward on this time line, we would never had the developments that they brought about because they've been medicated and sent to a shrink and they would I mean nothing good with men. It's just part of there's such an array of human behaviors. I have a hard time saying what's with what's considered normal. And obviously we don't want violent behavior. We don't want to encourage it. We got to address that. But there is a great deal of wiggle room, and I don't know why they got to trounce on labeling people for having certain things that not considered
Because it's
normal.
money.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's
Other
money.
than that,
It's money. It's SSI. It's not necessarily. I mean, because most people go to a doctor when they have a problem, especially a psych doctor,
right.
and then all of a sudden they talk to caseworkers and different things who push them into, oh, you should go for SSI, and then that's their goal to get that $900 a month rather than go to college and different things because they don't think they can.
Yeah, it's just like that's what problems with labels is people have it when you label, especially a person is considered an authority, they label you. Now you're supposed to operate in a certain parameter and you're not supposed to be capable of this. Well, let's face it, basically those people accept that because those are the authorities you face, and that label sticks, and it will either impair and probably mostly impair them, throughout their lives. And
But as somebody who's worked in the mental health, in the hospitals and different things, that actually work with the people that are diagnosing these people and see them behind the scenes, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
they're no, their guess is as good as yours.
They're just as screwed up as everybody else, but they're giving advice.
So, well, I had a college professor over, instructor over at Mott, and she had been an educator before she became a college professor. For like grade school kids and stuff. And she had a real serious issue with the DSM, the Diagnostic Standard Manual. Back then it was DSM-3. And she goes, but she called it the cookbook because she said, you add this, you take this, you add this, you stir this up, and you got this. You put that label on a person. She had issues with that.
But I mean, I've seen people who are really psych,
Right.
that they're psychotic, that they're not going to change, and there's other people who are just attention seekers.
Yeah, I mean,
And if you go there, you're going to get attention,
exactly. I mean,
and you're going to be taking drugs, and you're going to be caught in the system. It's just same thing with MDOC.
yes. Well, I know that I don't know if there's a psychiatrist. There's a couple of psychiatrists. One was R.D. Lang, and he argued against the conventional process, like the approach to psychiatry in the United States. And there's also another one, Thomas
Well, I mean, do
Saz.
you think
Yeah.
it's good to go over trauma? It's something that traumatized you
No.
over and over with the doctor?
Well, I don't know if like one of the big African nations where they had a huge war, Hutus and the Tutsis. I don't know which country that was anymore, but in Rwanda. Anyway, after the war ended or whatever, they kept on sending American psychiatrists, or Western psychiatrists to them. They wanted to relive this experience and talk about it. And finally, the people who were there are saying, you want us to go into the dark. We want to go into the light. Go into this,
Right.
and
I
that's what it
mean,
was.
you can learn from. I mean, I've had plenty of traumatic
Right.
experiences in my life. I don't want to think about them all the time. I have enough nightmares about them now. I don't need to talk to a doctor about them to know that they were bad.
Yeah, it's like and it's sometimes some people I think the individual is going to be some people want to talk about until they talk about till they exhaust. They can
Well,
they
especially when they start trying to put psych meds on you.
right.
Oh, this one's going to help you sleep. Oh, this one's going to help you be awake during the day. This one's going to help you calm down.
Well, see, some things there's as a human you're just going to have to go through. You have to work through. No medication is going to really help. I had a friend who lost his daughter to a drug overdose, and my friend that used to come in here to
Well,
do
they
a
talk
show.
about gateway drugs. These are gateway drugs.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But he said they kept on giving him medication to deal with his daughter's death. And he finally got, after two or three attempts to get these right prescriptions, he goes to the doctors, I have to just go through this. I have to accept the fact and I have to move through this. I have to learn how to do this without the drugs because that's going to become a problem itself if I continue in this
Right.
course. So I mean, there are just some things that are horrible, horrible. And I'm not trying to trivialize on any of that, but there are just some things you got to deal with, and you got to just basically see that all the stark reality of it. I mean, no medication is going to change that. I mean, I had friends, a friend of mine who just died of cancer. I mean, I knew the man for 40 some years. That was a very harsh reality. I don't think any medications. I wouldn't want to take any medications for that. I mean, I just
Well,
you
I've
know,
learned a lot about it. I mean, I've learned if they told me that I had cancer and it was terminal, I would say, okay, and that would be it. I wouldn't take any drugs
because you
if they
would
offer me, because especially when you think about it, that a cancer doctor makes 90% of their money off of giving people chemotherapy.
and that's like my friend went through chemo, and I don't think it helped him out.
No, they shortened his life
Yeah,
by a lot.
well, there's a guy in this neighborhood, right here in this neighborhood with a studio. He was diagnosed with cancer 10 years ago. They gave him the kind of chemo option. He said no. In my knowledge, he's still alive. 10 years. Okay, so I mean, my friend got diagnosed,
I
and
mean, that's not
and
going to
here he was
happen for
doing
everybody.
right. Exactly. I mean, it is a crapshoot. I mean, either way you're going to go. If you
But I decided long ago because I've seen plenty of people die, especially my sister being a nurse who worked on the cancer ward. And that I told her about my friend, a couple of my friends. She just said they're gonna die,
Mhm. And
and
it's
that's why she got out of it because of the all the meds that she didn't agree with being. Because the first thing they want to do is put a port in you, so it's easier to put the meds in
right.
you.
Exactly. And it's I guess it's as if you think you got a shot, take it. If you don't think it's going to work, like that's on you. I mean,
But your
it's a
friend that he's a mutual friend.
yeah,
I mean, how many times did they run him all over the state for something?
yeah,
And he really thought it was going to help him,
right. And yeah,
and it didn't.
no, it didn't. I think it
We
shortened his life.
watched him go. What? It only took like less than 6 months, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's about 6, 7 months. He was gone. I mean, it went fast, and I think the medication. Well, the mutual friend, another mutual friend, his dad went to with he to convince his dad to go the chemo route, and now he regrets it. He thinks it did shorten his dad's life. I mean, it was certainly the quality of what
I
existed.
mean, it's up to the individual,
Right.
but me as an individual, no, I would rather live a quality life as long as I could,
Hmm.
and then go into hospice.
I just, God, it's just such a sobering and depressing thought to think that
Well,
you're actually living.
but cancer's been around forever,
Yeah.
and they still haven't figured it out, and they're still collecting money for it. Same thing with MS, muscular dystrophy. How long is Jerry Lewis?
He did like
Almost all
44.
of his adult life, he was collecting money for that, and nobody's getting better
No, it just
because they can make money off it. It's disgusting. It's just like, okay, we got McLaren Hospital and we got Extension Hospital, and then we got another one in Detroit. I don't think I think you got better care because I just went. I mean, I had to go to the hospital for a minute, but I went to a privately owned hospital up in Saginaw Covenant. It was
better
a nice hospital.
better treatment
I
and
was treated great there. I would have much rather, and I worked at McLaren. I worked at two different McLarens. So no, it wasn't the same.
yeah, because in McLaren when I was a kid was a small local business, a local hospital. I mean, I never had to go there for any. I can't remember going there other than visiting people in there, but I
But they
never had to go for
treat it as a
treatment.
business.
Right. Well, it's like back in the '80s. I remember I was like talking to people when I was over at Mott, and one woman was like really excited because the insurance company she had money stocking or something was going is getting bigger. Because more and more people it become more for
Bigger is
profit.
not always
Yeah,
better.
and she was all excited about because it was make more money on her stocks for him. And then I didn't know much about it back then. I mean, I was just like a 20-year-old
I
kid.
think that they should be broken up. I don't think that the hospitals should be for profit. I think it was better when it was managed by like Hurley. I mean, it's not the greatest hospital in the world, but at least it's managed locally.
You know what's really weird too, because they get the indigenous cases, the people who only have the insurances and all that stuff, and they got a lot of stuff that the government doesn't cover, and they're covering, and they still manage to make money on that each year. I mean,
Right.
I mean that's good management. I
But I
mean,
think the hospitals need to go back to being local government owned,
right.
or at least owned by the people and not by major corporations.
Well, I remember. I don't know if you remember this, but when my grandparents lived in this neighborhood back when they wanted to open up the Catholic Church. The Catholic churches want to open up St. Joe's Hospital, and they went home and took donations. This was in the 1930s, I think. And my great grandparents, donated like $400 for that because I mean, even though they weren't Catholic, they were so happy to have one just about a mile down the road. You know, where that
Well, I was born in St. Joe's.
yeah. So I mean, it was a good. I mean, it was a good hospital. I mean, it was a good hospital. Now it's
Well, what we had St. Joe's. What did we have? Flint Osteopathic. We had like five
yeah,
different
Flint
hospitals at
Memorial,
one time.
Flint General.
Hurley.
Hurley, yeah. We had Flint General was up on Hamilton, and then just down the road a little bit further was Hurley, and then when you got over by
And
Hurley, then
now what?
McLaren
We've
and
only got we got three in the
three, yeah,
area if you want to go to Grand Blanc.
right. So I mean, and now that's changed hands
But
how
they're
many
all
times?
corporate.
Yeah, the
I mean,
corporation,
not Hurley, but McLaren,
right?
and I think it's Extension now. Extension.
Ascension, and also I think that's actually a Ford. I want to Ford or is it Beaumont? You know, that owns
Beaumont, I don't know. I think Beaumont bought out Henry Ford.
So I mean, it's just. I mean, it's like they keep on acquiring each other. I mean, they're got to be if they're doing this, or somebody's making a hell of a lot of money. So I mean, it's not about quality of care or patient care or anything.
No,
It's
it's
not.
about making money and bottom line. And the big thing for McLaren is, I think it's Kamanos. Their cancer,
Hmm.
and That's what they do in every hospital is create a cancer ward, and it sucks all the money from everything else.
Just yeah, just anyway. There's if you guys have opinions or anybody has opinion about what we're saying, I mean, please weigh in on it later on there. No, I just
What do you think about El Salvador's president vowing to double the size of his prison to hold more U.S. deportees?
I I think that's like well, he realizes that there is something to be gained by it, and we gain. It's
Well, how do
a
you feel about U.S. citizens being held in?
I don't like that at all.
Well, what about if they're not? If they're done, they're the worst of the worst. There's no rehabilitation. They're never going to see the light of day again.
Mm.
And if we can house them cheaper there, why not?
Yeah,
They
just
created their own hell.
yeah. I definitely want some kind of form of due process and criteria that have to be
Well,
met.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't care if they're housed
Well,
on foreign land.
well, yeah. There's some people that just that they're like, oh, the years ago they used to put people in exile other country. I mean, like Rome, we could put people in exile, and for not even anything that nefarious. I mean, just they would take a vote and they'd ostracize and they'd have to go into exile. Greeks did that. The Romans did it. But I mean, I definitely, I'm very cautious because I mean, I don't want anybody could be caught up in that at some point. They
But why? Why? Okay, somebody who does a a small petty crime felony to go in jail with murderers. Is that fair?
no, no. I mean, I definitely, and I get it.
Someone who only gets 6 to 8 years, you're going to put him in with a lifer?
No, this. I mean, I've heard of. I know a lot of people went to prison, and I guess I know those type of people. If you're suburbanite, don't get all offended. I don't hold that against them. Somebody screws up, they pay the price, they go
I know
home.
people that went to prison too.
Yes, I mean, I have no big issue about it, but I definitely don't think a kid, say 18 years old, a person 18 years old gets convicted because they can be tried as adult
But
for
why not? Why not have that threat that if you don't straighten up, you're going to go to El Salvador?
that should be. I mean, that could be a possible, alternative, thing to hold out to people. Say that if you don't stop screwing up, you're going to go there. I don't know. I definitely want criteria. I want it spelled out, specifically by the laws. If we're going to have to do something like that, it's going to have to meet all our expectation and due process. And because I'm a stickler for that, I mean, I'm definitely a stickler for that.
What about the death penalty?
Actually, death penalty,
Sorry.
that's all right. No, death penalty. There's only certain crimes I think that should be held. Like first degree murder. I think that should be definitely death penalty on the table. But and some rapes, yeah, definitely not statutory rape, perhaps, but
Child.
child rape, like pedophilia or stuff. Yeah, I don't see them changing. I just don't ever see. I've never known a person like that.
Fentanyl?
Fentanyl. That's definitely, yeah, that kind
And
of
if you're
that
a
kind of drug,
dealer,
a dealer, yeah, death penalty for that. But, yeah, I mean, definitely, it should be very, very judiciously given out because, I mean, nobody wants, I mean, another thing is you gotta exhaust all means of finding that person's innocence. Like, if there's DNA or whatever could be induced, whatever, make sure that's all been exhausted before going that route. I mean, I do believe in due process. I really do because I've seen people picked up and I've seen people go to prisons for years and they didn't do the crime and it was found out later, they're released. I don't know anything more horrifying than being put in prison for something you did not do, and you had to have and even after you're released, all these people are going to keep on saying, "Yeah, well, it was just because of a technicality." You know, what I mean, and your life's ruined. Your life's ruined, and I don't. They can compensate you. You might be able to change your name, but the years are not going to be given back to you. That would be appalling. I just, how many times Project Innocence has uncovered how many cases each year they come across new cases where people have been wrongly convicted. So definitely want that all, that all exhausted before you go that route. So
okay.
hopefully,
I think it's time to play the music, Jeff.
okay, all right.